Hello, Felix from Nintendo Life here, and today we're here to review Sonic Origins for the Nintendo Switch. But these words are not gonna be mine, since this review was written by the wonderful Mitch Vogel, but it was reworked into this video by me. One particularly bright spot in Sonic's recent history was the release of Sonic Mania. One part sequel, and another part reimagining the 2D classics. The retro revival proved to be one of the best rated and best-selling Sonic projects in recent years. In the frankly baffling absence of a true follow-up to Sonic Mania, Sega has instead opted to look to that game's inspiration for Sonic's latest 2D release. Billed as Sonic Origins, this collection presents all the original 4 Sonic games, including the rarely re-released Sonic 3 and Knuckles in an enhanced widescreen format with a new option to treat all the 2D entries as they were all one big game. The end result is, well, exactly what you'd expect. All these classic Sonic games look better than ever with their new presentation and some small quality of life updates. But those of you who've already run through Green Hell Zone more times than you can count, well, you might be left wishing for a little bit more. Clearly, the main draw of the package is the original 16-bit platformers, and we're happy to report that each of these remain tremendously fun. There's a good reason why so many Sonic fans remember these games so fondly, and that's because these games really got what Sonic was all about. No overwrought stories and bizarre self-insert characters here, just a blue hedgehog who fights an evil mustache man to save a bunch of animals and eventually the world. There's a clear maturation to be observed with each release here. The original Sonic the Hedgehog presented a rougher but cohesive version of the high-speed, momentum-based platforming. And each game that followed took the games in new directions with interesting new ideas. Sonic CD, for example, focused more on exploration and toyed with the time travel mechanic which saw you visiting the past to alter the future. Meanwhile, Sonic 3 and Knuckles included elemental shields which gave Sonic new moves. The level design slowly became more refined too over time, with Sonic 3 and Knuckles representing a near-perfect realization of a mixture between blazing fast, flowing level design and slower, more measured platforming parts. Everyone probably has their reasons why one game was better or worse than the other, but the point here is that it's very hard to go wrong with any of these releases. Even the first game, which feels a little simplistic by comparison, handles like a dream and provides plenty of thrills. Plus, there is an option to experience all these games as one continuous experience, complete with some cute animated cutscenes, and this helps sidestep any issues you might have with the short length of each individual entry. None of these games are more than 5 hours, they are 30-year-old 2D platformers after all, but playing them back to back as one big game makes for an interesting and surprising cohesive experience. Each game can be played in either classic mode, where each title is displayed in its original aspect ratio, or anniversary mode, which is arguably the main draw here. Anniversary mode retrofits each title with modern improvements, like widescreen support, Sonic's drop dash move from Sonic Mania, and the option to play as other characters like Tails and Knuckles in the games they didn't originally feature in. The new features don't do much to change the core experience, these are remasters, not remakes, but we thought they did a good job of presenting these classics in the best light possible. New to this collection is Mission Mode, which contains a couple of dozen bite-sized challenges for each game. These will have you doing things like clearing a certain portion of a stage while defeating a given number of foes, or surviving a level with only one ring. And the speed in which you must meet these objectives determines what rank you get. Higher ranks will earn you more coins, giving you some incentive to meet the narrow requirements to convert an S rank. And these coins are not to be confused with rings. Though nothing revolutionary, we enjoyed the rapid-fire structure of these missions. They often cause you to think about a level in a way you wouldn't normally, and later demands you to pull off some advanced tricks to finish them on time. Additionally, there's a boss mode and a mirror mode to fool around with. The former tasks you of running a gauntlet of bosses with no or some rings and 3 lives, and the latter simply mirrors the levels. Both are welcome inclusions and good for mixing things up, but feel a little shallow once you've adjusted to their gimmicks. Using the coins earned from across all the modes, you can then go into the game's museum to spend them on soundtracks, pieces of concept art, and brief videos and animation from across Sonic's history. Although it feels like the museum portion is a little light on content, we appreciated having something that ties together your progress across all 4 games. There's a nice sense of accomplishment to slowly unlocking and filling out the museum's collection, a welcome addition to an already rewarding experience of playing each game. One thing that we think bears mentioning is that, pleasant though it may be, Sonic Origins simply represents yet another re-release of these classic Sonic games, and a rather expensive one at that. Aside from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, we've seen most of these classic Sonic games released in some form on virtually every gaming platform over the last several years. Some of them are even available on Switch, multiple times in fact, via other re-releases and services. The point here is that this is a great collection for anyone out there who hasn't played these classic Sonic games and is looking for a worthwhile entry point, but we'd encourage those of you who've already played these games to death to take a beat and ask if it's really worth it. If the answer is yes, then take a second beat to ask if it's not worth waiting for a sale. There's very little about this release that easily validates a double dip. It's simply all the old Sonic games featuring some nice but in the end inessential modern tweaks. We feel it also must be said that there's a lingering sense that this collection could have been so much more. The 4 games on offer here are certainly well presented and enjoyable, but something like Sonic Spinball, Sonic 3D Blast might have helped to justify the $40 price tag. What about save states or a rewind feature like many other classic collections? Why isn't there an option to play Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles separately? Well, we don't know. Also, the replacement of several Sonic 3's audio tracks, which infamously featured contributions from Michael Jackson, is another sticking point if you adore these originals, especially when Sega is billing this as the ultimate way to play them. The new tracks aren't terrible, they aren't really new either, but they're not the bangers we remember from the 90s. Then there's also the matter that features like harder missions in mission mode and some screen borders in classic mode are gated behind DLC that Sega wants you to buy separately from the base release. We don't want to be too quick to judge a release based on what isn't instead of what it is, but it feels like Sega is being a bit tight-fisted with this one. It's fine for what it is, but it feels more like a $20 game than a $40 one. In conclusion, Sonic Origins is simply more of the same, which is both its greatest strength, but also weakness. On one hand, it's a near definitive way to experience 4 stone cold classics that represent some of the highest peaks of Sonic's career. On the other, most of these games are already readily available, and there aren't really that many new features or additions to justify buying them again. If you don't have a reliable or convenient way of playing these games now, or this is genuinely your first time playing through them, then we'd say that Sonic Origins is the go-to way to experience Sonic's 2D heyday. Otherwise, we'd encourage you to either wait for this to go on sale, or just pass on it. We here at Nintendo Life give Sonic Origins on the Nintendo Switch a 8 out of 10. But let us know what you think of this game and its price point down in the comments below. Stay safe, play some Sonic games. Felix from Nintendo Life here, out.